Hello everyone, welcome to the course on Measurements and Instrumentation. Today's topics are classification of measuring instrument, operating forces or torques, constructional details of deflecting, controlling and damping system. First topic is classification of measuring instruments. Instruments used for measuring an unknown quantity is called measuring instruments. Examples: thermometer is used for measuring temperature, ammeter is used for measuring current, wattmeter is used for measuring power, etc. Measuring instruments are classified into different categories. They are: the first category is absolute and secondary instruments. See, the secondary instruments is again classified as indicating instrument, recording instrument and integrating instruments. The second classification is analog and digital instruments. And third one is mechanical, electrical and electronic instruments. And fourth classification is automatic and manual instruments. And fifth one is self-operated and power-operated instrument. And the last category is deflection instruments and null output instruments. See, this is our first category of instruments, absolute and secondary instrument. First, absolute instruments. Instrument of this type give the value of measurand. Measurand means the unknown quantity in terms of instrument constant and its deflection. Absolute instrument do not require comparison with any other standard. Tangent galvanometer is an example of absolute instrument. Coming to secondary instruments, these instruments are so constructed that the deflection of such instrument give magnitude of electrical quantity to be measured directly. These instruments are required to be calibrated by comparison with either an absolute instrument or with another secondary instrument which has already been calibrated before the use. The most commonly used instruments are secondary instruments. Secondary instruments are classified into three types. They are indicating instruments, integrating instruments and recording instrument. First one is indicating instrument. Indicating instruments are those which indicate the magnitude of an electrical quantity at a time when it is being measured. The indications are given by a pointer moving over a calibrated scale. Ordinary ammeter used for measurement of current and ordinary voltmeter used for measurement of voltage are indicating instruments. Next one is integrating instrument. Integrating instruments are those which measure the total amount of either quantity of electricity or electrical energy supplied over a period of time. The summation given by such an instrument is the product of time and electrical quantity under measurement. The energy meter and ampere hour meter are examples of integrating instrument. This is an energy meter. Next one is recording instrument. Recording instruments are those which keep a continuous record of the variation of magnitude of an electrical quantity to be observed over a definite period of time. This type of instrument is mainly used in substations and powerhouses. In such instrument, the moving system carries an inked pen which touches lightly a sheet of paper wrapped over a drum, moving with a uniform slow motion in a direction perpendicular to that of the direction of pointer. Thus, a curve is traced which shows the variation in the magnitude of electrical quantity under observation over a particular period of time. The second category of instrument is analog and digital instruments. Analog instruments means the signal of analog unit vary in a continuous fashion and can take on infinite number of values in a given range. We know that in analog instruments we got a continuous variation of input data. Examples are fuel gauge, analog ammeter and analog voltmeter. Second is digital instrument. Signal varying in discrete steps and taking on a finite number of different values in a given range are digital signals, and the corresponding instruments are of digital type. A digital instrument gives a finite number of data over a particular period of time. The major advantage of digital instrument as compared to analog instrument is high accuracy and high speed of operation. And one more point is it eliminates the human operation error, and digital instruments can store the result for future purpose. An example of digital instrument is a digital multimeter. Third category is mechanical, electrical and electronic instruments. Mechanical instruments. As the name implies, the instrument consists of number of mechanical parts for its working. Mainly, the moving parts are rigid, heavy, bulky and consequently have large mass. So, due to this reason, they are unable to respond rapidly to the measurement of dynamic and transient conditions. And mechanical instruments are very reliable for static and stable conditions. Coming to electrical instruments, when the instrument pointer deflection is caused by the action of some electrical methods, then the instrument is called electrical instrument. But in case of electrical instrument, the moving system is mechanical, and the moving system has some inertia, and due to which frequency response of this instrument is poor. Coming to electronic instrument use semiconductor devices. Most of the scientific and industrial instrumentation require very fast response. Such requirements cannot be met with mechanical and electrical instrument. In electronic devices, the only movement involved is that of electrons. The response time is extremely small owing to very small inertia of the electrons. Next category of instrument is manual and automatic instruments. In case of manual instrument, the service of an operator is required. But in case of automatic instrument, no operator is required all the time. Example of manual instrument is measurement of temperature by a resistance thermometer incorporating a Wheatstone bridge in its circuit. An operator is required to indicate the temperature being measured. The example of automatic type instrument is measurement of temperature by mercury in glass thermometer. And fifth category is self-operated and power-operated instrument. Self-operated instruments are those in which no outside power is required. The example is dial indicating type instruments. Next one is power-operated instruments. In this type of instrument, some external power such as electricity, compressed air, hydraulic supply is required for operation. Electromechanical instruments comes under this category. And next category of instrument is deflection and null output instrument. In a deflection type instrument, the deflection of the instrument indicates the measurement of unknown quantity. The measure and quantity produce some physical effect which deflects or produces a mechanical displacement in the moving system of the instrument. The major examples are permanent magnet moving coil, that is denoted by PMMC, moving iron, it is denoted by MI. Instruments are examples of deflection type instrument. Next is null type instrument. In a null type instrument, a zero or null indication lead to determination of the magnitude of measure and quantity. The null condition depends upon some other condition. These are more accurate and highly sensitive as compared to deflection type instrument. A DC potentiometer is a null type instrument. In case of DC potentiometer, we compare an unknown quantity with a predefined standard cell, and we have a jockey over the potentiometer, and we move on the jockey, and at some point the galvanometer shows null deflection, and this point is taken for the calculation of unknown voltage. And one additional category of instrument is based on principle of operation. Analog instruments may be classified according to the principle of operation they utilize. The major effects they utilizes are magnetic effect, heating effect, electrostatic effect, electromagnetic effect, and Hall effect. The majority of analog instruments, including moving coil, moving iron, and electrodynamic type meters, utilizes magnetic effect. The effect of heat produced by a current in a conductor is used in thermocouple and hot wire instrument. And electrostatic effect is used in electrostatic voltmeter. And electromagnetic induction effect is used in induction wattmeter and induction type energy meter. Next is operating torques or operating forces required for an instrument. For the proper operation of an instrument, three types of operating torques or operating forces are required. They are deflecting torque, controlling torque, and damping torque. First one is deflecting torque or deflecting force. The deflecting torque's value is depends upon the electrical signal to be measured. This torque or force helps in rotating an instrument movement from its zero position. The system producing the deflecting torque is called deflecting system. For example, if we are using a meter for measurement and connecting the meter to supply, and when the power is switched on, first the pointer moves its position from initial zero position, and this movement is due to the effect of deflecting force, and the system producing this force is called deflecting system or moving system. Second one is controlling torque or controlling force. The act of this torque or force is opposite to the deflecting torque. When the deflecting and controlling torque are equal in magnitude, then the movement will be in definite position or in equilibrium. Spiral springs or gravity is used given to produce the controlling torque. The system which produces the controlling torque is called controlling system. And the function of the controlling system are, first one is to produce a torque equal and opposite to that of deflecting torque at the final steady state position of the pointer in order to make the deflection of the pointer definite for a particular magnitude of current. And second function is bring the moving system back to its zero position when the force causing the instrument moving system to deflect is removed. The controlling torque in indicating instrument is almost always obtained by a spring, much less commonly by gravity. The most commonly used controlling system is spring control mechanism. Next one is damping torque or damping force. A damping force generally works in an opposite direction to the movement of moving system. This opposite movement of the damping force without any oscillation or very small oscillation bring the moving system to rest at final deflected position quickly. Different damping methods are air friction damping, fluid friction damping, and eddy current damping. The figure represents different cases of damping. When the controlling force is less than moving force, it is called underdamped system. When controlling force and moving force are equal, it is said to be critically damped. And overdamped means when controlling force is greater than moving force, it is called overdamped system. Next, constructional details of different operating systems. The first system is moving or deflecting system. The moving system should have the following properties. The moving part should be light and the frictional force should be minimum. These are the essential conditions for the proper working of a moving system. The moving system can be made light by using aluminium as far as possible. The frictional force are reduced by using spindle mounted jewel bearings and by carefully balancing the system. The different supports used for a moving system are suspension type, toed suspension, and pivot and jewel bearings. First one is suspension type support. It consists of a fine ribbon shaped metal filament for the upper suspension and coil of fine wire for lower part. At the top it is a ribbon and at the lower part it is a fine wire. Normally the ribbon is made of beryllium copper or phosphor bronze. The coiling of lower part of suspension is done in order to give negligible restraint on the moving system. And the type of suspension requires careful leveling of the instrument so that the moving system hangs in vertical position. Due to this reason, the suspension type support is difficult to use in field operation. It is mainly used in laboratory applications. Next is toed suspension. In case of toed suspension, there is a ribbon at the top and in the bottom, and the moving system comes fixed under the stress of two springs. One is on the upper side and other is in the lower side. See, the suspension type instrument can only be used in vertical position. The toed suspension has flat ribbon suspension both above and below the moving element, with suspension kept under tension by a spring arrangement. The advantage of this type suspension is that exact leveling is not required if the moving system is properly balanced. So, this type of support can be used anywhere. The third type of support is pivot and jewel bearing. In this case, the system consists of a spindle, and the spindle is made of cast steel, and at the end of the spindle there is a conical structure, and this is called pivot, and this pivot is placed in a conical shaped sector, and this sector is called jewel and pivot and jewel mechanism. The pivot end is conical, and there is a conical hole in the jewel also. The moving system is mounted on a spindle made of hardened steel that I am already told. The two ends of the spindle are made conical and then polished to form pivots. And these ends fit conical holes in jewels located in the fixed part of instrument. Jewels are located in the fixed part of instrument. These jewels, which are preferably made of sapphire, form bearings. It has been found that the frictional torque for jewel bearing is proportional to the area of contact between the pivot and jewel. Thus, the contact area between pivot and jewel should be small in order to reduce the friction. And second type of operating system is controlling system. The controlling torque is provided by spring or sometimes by gravity. The two methods are spring control and gravity control. The function of controlling system is, first function, it produces a force equal and opposite to that of deflecting system. And the second function is, when the force causing deflection is not there, it will automatically comes back to zero position. The figure shows two views of spring control mechanism. See the figure? This is our spindle. It is made of hardened steel. See, there are two springs, spring A and spring B. These are used for providing sufficient controlling torque or controlling force. See, at the top and bottom, the conical shape, it is pivot and jewel bearing. And on the spindle, we have a pointer. The pointer moves over a graduated scale. At the pointer, at the back end, there is a balancing weight. Spring control. A hairspring, usually of phosphor bronze, attached to the moving system is used in indicating instruments for control purpose. To give a controlling torque which is directly proportional to the angle of deflection of the moving system, the number of turns on the spring should be fairly large so that the deflection per unit length is small. The stress in the spring must be limited to such a value that there is no permanent set. Suppose that the spiral spring is made up of total length L meter of strip whose cross section is in rectangular and the radial thickness being T meter and depth B meter and E be the Young's modulus of the material of spring. Then, if theta radians be the deflection of the moving system to which one end of the spring is being attached, the expression for the controlling torque is given by Tc equal to EB, it is actually T cube times that of thickness, Tc equal to EB T cube divided by 12L into deflection theta. The controlling torque Tc is proportional to deflection of the moving system. and Tc can be written as a constant K into deflection. Next is gravity control. See the figure. This is a part of spindle on which the pointer is attached. It is moves over a calibrated scale, and on the moving system we have a balancing weight and controlling weights. In the gravity controlled instrument, a small weight is attached to the moving system in such a way that it produces a restoring or controlling torque when the system is deflected. The controlling torque when the deflection is theta is omega L sin theta, where omega is the controlling weight and L is the distance from the axis of rotation of the moving system, and it is therefore proportional only to the sine of the angle of deflection instead of, as with spring control, being directly proportional to angle of deflection. It means in case of spring control, Tc is proportional to deflection theta, and in case of gravity control, the deflection is controlling torque is proportional to sine of deflection or deflecting angle. The gravity controlled instrument must obviously be used in a vertical position in order that the control may operate. Comparison of spring and gravity control. The gravity control has the following advantages when compared with spring control. It is cheaper, independent of temperature, and does not deteriorate with time. Damping system. There are three types of dampings generally used. They are air friction damping, fluid friction damping, and eddy current damping. The main purpose of damping is to reduce the oscillations at final steady state position of pointer. The pointer reaches its equilibrium or final steady state position only when controlling torque and deflecting torque are equal. First one is air friction damping. See, this is our pointer. The pointer is attached to spindle, and on the spindle we have a piston, and the piston is placed inside an aluminum chamber. This is also mechanism for air friction damping. In this case of damping, we are using an aluminum vane instead of aluminum piston. The working is, in this method, a light aluminum piston is attached to the moving system and it moves in an air chamber closed at one end. The cross section of this chamber may be either circular or rectangular. The clearance between the piston and the sides of the chamber should be small and uniform. See the distance between the piston and the chamber. It is uniform throughout the area. If the piston is moving rapidly into the chamber, the air in the closed space is compressed and the pressure opposes the motion of the piston and therefore of the moving system. And if the piston is moving out of the chamber rapidly, the pressure in the closed space falls and pressure on the open side of the piston is greater than that of opposite side. Motion is again opposed. Sometimes instead of a piston, a vane mounted on a spindle of moving system moves in a closed sector shaped boxes also used. Next one is fluid friction damping. Only difference is that instead of air, here a damping oil opposes the movement of piston. See, this is a piston type fluid friction damping and this is vane type fluid friction damping. In this type of damping, a light aluminium vane attached to the spindle of the moving system dips into a pot of damping oil and should be completely submerged by the oil. See the figure? This is our piston. It is dipped in the damping oil. The frictional drag in the disc is always in the direction opposing the motion. There is no friction force when the disc is stationary. In the second system, increased damping is obtained by the use of vane. Eddy current damping. When the sheet of conducting material moves in a magnetic field so as to cut through lines of force, eddy currents are set up in it and a force exists between this current and the magnetic field, which is always in the direction opposing the motion. The force is proportional to magnitude of current and to the strength of field. The magnitude of current is proportional to velocity of movement of the conductor, and thus if the magnetic field is constant, the damping force is proportional to velocity of the moving system and is zero when there is no movement of the system. And conclusion is that the damping force always opposes the movement caused by the deflection system and hence reduce the oscillations at steady state position of the pointer. Thank you.